So what does that mean? If you have a power curve effect, it means that your portfolio is going to change depending on how many investments that you have in that portfolio. And you can see this very dramatically on the chart on the left here. You can see that green line there is basically a 100 investment portfolio, which is pretty typical of a VC. I mean, a lot of us, in my first fund, I didn't even have that. I had 20 investment portfolio. So my line on this graph would be even further to the left. And what we've decided to do is actually follow that red line on the right. The benefit of following the red line on the right is that you can expect to capture more power curve effects quite simply by having a larger portfolio. So if I, like Y Combinator or 500 startups or others that have done this, if I invest in 2,000 companies and I have a good process for doing that, I can expect at that point to generate a better return than someone who invests in 100 companies. This does seem a little hard to agree to in the beginning, and I've put this in front of several people, including a lot of folks that run hedge funds and private equities funds, and it takes them a while to really adjust their thinking to venture capital. If you have two outcomes out of 1,000 company portfolio, and those two outcomes are DoorDash and Airbnb, you're going to return that portfolio and a multiple, and the other 998 companies can disappear. This is a critical part of venture. That's not quite true of most other asset classes. On the right here, what you can see are a bunch of venture funds that we've studied. There's no names on here. We don't want to point at anyone, but you can see the return. The cash on cash multiple is on the y-axis, and the number of investments in their portfolios on the x-axis. We've noticed a very strong correlation, even in the empirical data, that if you have a larger portfolio, you will generally get better multiples and better returns. And these two things match up: the empirical data and the virtual data, or the data that we got from our simulations.